You are listening to the Marketing 32 Show with your host, Brett Allen.
Hi, Brett Allen here, host of the Marketing 32 Show, where I connect with leading dentists, dental influencers, and industry experts to uncover the latest and greatest for your practice to help you guys grow and thrive. This episode, as always, is brought to you by our team here at Marketing 32. We're the only dental marketing team that I know of that's truly invested in your growth, and we have a performance guarantee that if you're not growing, you don't pay us. It's really that simple. We like to pride ourselves on being the most ethical and honest in the marketing space for dentists, and everything we do is tied to how we can help you grow. That said, we don't work with everybody, and so we do qualify and find a good fit to see if it'll be a good fit for both of us. And if you need help with growth, head over to marketing32.com, set up a call, and we'll have that conversation. Quick shout out to Erin Glending. Recently had her on the show. We had a fascinating discussion about the principle of reliability in business and how the weak points in your operations can erode profitability and your team. It's a really awesome concept that she helped us uncover there from her background in corporate America and how it can impact dentistry. So check that episode out. Excited to have a new friend on the show, Josh Rich. He is the head of partnerships at Clary, the dental industry's leading membership platform. Josh has 15 plus years of leadership experience in the health tech space and has seen firsthand just how impactful the right technology can be for providers of all specialties. Josh loves to spend time with his wife and 4 kids exploring the amazing mountains of Utah. Welcome to the show, Josh. Excited to talk with you about memberships.
Thanks, Brett. Really great to be here.
Yeah, we've had a couple others on the show, and I think it's a big thing in dentistry, this whole concept of adding memberships as a revenue stream for the practice and having more control in predictability with your revenue. So excited to go deeper with you and learn more about Clary.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And it is a topic of discussion that we hear more and more all the time. And if it's okay, I would love to just share my story of how I learned about membership plans in the first place. Like long before
let's start there.
Long before I was ever with Clary. Yeah. So some time ago, I was unfortunately laid off abruptly from my employer that I'd been with for a long time, and found myself needing to get insurance for my family, not through my employer, but on my own through the exchange. Yes. So wanted to do the right thing and not just get health insurance, but get dental coverage as well through the exchange. So I looked for a plan that I thought was going to be a good fit. I wanted to make sure that we didn't get something too cheap. So I decided to spend a little extra on premiums for a plan that I thought would be robust for our family. Well, fast forward maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I had a dental appointment that I needed to go to. By the time I had my appointment, my wife had her appointment there already, and my 4 kids. So after my exam is over, my hygiene visit, which went well, by the way, no cavities or anything like that.
Nice.
I'm standing at the front desk, and the sweetest front desk lady you've ever met in your life is shuffling some papers and has kind of a confused look on her face and keeps going back into into a room behind her desk. And then finally she says, Josh, it looks like the insurance that you have has a waiting period that doesn't kick in for about 6 months. And I said, can you explain that to me? And she said, well, basically that means your dental plan is no good for 6 months. Well, I said, hold on for a second. I've been paying premiums for, 2.5 months. So there's no benefit at all to my visit. And she says, well, Josh, not only is there no benefit to your visit, but your wife's previous visit and Blake's visit and Bennett's visit and Cooper's visit and Lucy's visit, you're going to have to pay out of pocket for. And
Like,
so at
would have
that
been great
point,
to know this before I scheduled the appointment.
and keep in mind, like I'm unemployed, so
Yeah.
money's limited at that time. So
Yeah.
I'm a puddle on the floor at this point, and she leans over the desk and almost in a whisper, almost like she wasn't supposed to tell me this, she goes, we do have this option called a membership plan that would save you a lot of money. And I said, why didn't you start with that? Why didn't you
Right.
lead with that? So, anyway, she introduced me to the concept of a membership plan. For my entire family, it would have been less expensive per month. I would have gotten more value, more would be included. There would be no waiting period. All the discounts would apply immediately. There'd be no out of pocket max that once I hit, then I would have to cover the rest of the cost of care. And I, I couldn't believe I hadn't ever heard of a dental membership plan before. And in my circumstance, with an individual dental plan, it was cheaper and better. And that is the case for a lot of folks who are on an individual plan, not an employer sponsored plan, but an individual plan, and certainly a better situation for those that don't have any dental coverage at all. There are over 70 million Americans today without dental coverage.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that that would be helpful context for understanding why
Yeah.
membership plans matter. And by the way, membership plans are far more profitable to the practice than a PPO patient, than a cash pay only patient. So
Right.
it is just a win for everybody all the way around.
Yeah. And I think it's a great thing in the industry. And I think it's a great tool to switch off of insurance for those that are wanting to go to fee for service. So before we kind of dive into the benefits of membership, tell us your background and how you got into dentistry. You've been in health tech for a while, but walk us through that journey a little bit, and then tell us more about Clary.
Yeah, you bet. So, about a decade and a half ago, I started at a company that was growing quickly called Solution Reach.
Okay.
I want to say, employee 106. And by the time I left 5 years later, we had around 800 employees there. So, got to be a part of pretty exponential growth there. I started in dentistry as a business development executive. So, creating partnerships with industry leaders and influencers and helping grow brand awareness and drive sales opportunities for the platform. I moved over to the eye care market at a certain point while at Solution Reach. So, very similar practice format, right? Appointment based. On paper, they're very similar industries. In reality, they're quite different in terms of the influencers in the industry and how they run their practices. And so I had the chance to learn a lot about those two different specialties at that time. The founder of Solution Reach, Jim Higgins, became the CEO of Clary last December.
Oh, okay.
And so, if we fast forward to just early this year, when I saw that announced, I knew that there were going to be some big things happening at Clary and wanted to be a part of it. I just knew that there was so much opportunity to expand access to care in dentistry. I knew there was a growing need for consumers who are losing insurance or can't afford insurance anymore.
Hmm.
And this was an opportunity for me to kind of blend the two things that I love most, which is technology in healthcare, but also making sure that people get the care that they need. And so over the 15 or so years between my start at Solution Reach and where I am today, have had the opportunity to see firsthand just how impactful the right technology can be for practices in dentistry and other specialties as well. But I just loved what Clary was doing and
Yeah.
who was on the team. And
Yeah.
since I joined, I've just fallen in love with the approach to the market, how well the team takes care of our customers, and have been having a blast ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know some people at Solution Reach. I think we were talking about this when we were together in Santa Barbara at the Speakers Consulting Network event. Um, Abe Nell was my first boss out of college, and he's
Okay, that's a good
uh,
first boss to have.
he was awesome. He was this was at Task, which was a software company in Utah, now Workfront, but yeah, and I think Adobe bought them out recently. But yeah, Abe was an awesome guy, and so Solution Reach, I've heard great things from the people there. And so, tell us more about Clary, though. We've had a couple, like I mentioned, we've had some membership people on the show. Every software is different in terms of the value they provide and how they approach solving the solution. And memberships are no different. So, walk us through what makes Clary so awesome and why you guys are the leading membership platform in dentistry.
Yeah. So I'll start with our people. I think that's really important. And I know it can sound kind of cliche in the industry to say we have great people, a great support team, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But Clary really, really is over the top when it comes to making sure that we take care of the practices that work with us. We have um, teams that are segmented based on um, stage of implementation, all the way to the size of the practice, and teams that are dedicated to those functions and those types of practices so that we understand the nuances of what the individual practices need. I'll give you some examples. So we have a team that's dedicated to just the onboarding process of helping a practice to navigate the decisions that need to be made about customizing their membership plans, providing guidance, best practices, helping the practice know for their region, their market, their goals as a practice,
Hmm.
what types of plans are going to be most effective, what those price points might look like, what could be included in those plans to really drive retention for patients, and what's going to help maximize profitability. So, just the onboarding process and that plan design step is something that we believe in strongly enough that we have an entire team dedicated to just that piece of the practice working with Clary. And then the practice moves on to um, their long-term support rep who is going to be there to help them make changes when necessary. That's going to be there to help them know all the best ways to drive enrollment. And then we have another team that's dedicated to the patient that is patient facing. And their role is to help answer questions that patients might have about the membership plan, or to reach out when it's time for renewal and make sure that the patients are understanding the value that they're getting from the membership plan so they choose to renew with the practice. And so we tend to see, as a result, compared to other options in the market, a higher enrollment rate among patients at the practice, a higher renewal rate among those patients that are on the plan to stay on the plan,
Hmm.
and just a more customized approach to what the needs are of the practice. And those needs change over time. I'm sure as you've talked with other guests about practice consulting or
Hmm.
ways to grow practices, depending on the stage of the practice, it's different. And the practice today, its needs as it is in growth mode might look different as it's in more
Hmm.
maintain mode. And so our team is there to help the practice adapt the plan based on their stage, age, size, all of those factors.
That's awesome. Yeah, I imagine the team is a big part of the value that Clary brings. Can you talk to us more a little bit about some numbers of the benefits of having a membership in the practice, and um, how do we get more members? What are some techniques to get people to say yes to a membership? Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So I'll address the kind of the why in terms of the financials for a practice to consider membership plans. Let's compare cash pay patients to membership plan patients for a second. And this is data based on Clary customers, so practices that have been with Clary over a number of years, and the data that we've looked at in terms of production for those offices. And what we've found is a cash pay patient that moves over to a membership plan powered by Clary, the practice is going to see a 76% increase in terms of the frequency of visits of that patient.
Hmm.
They're going to see those patients say yes to treatment 176% more often. They're
Wow.
going to see that membership plan patient compared to the cash pay patient no show an appointment 2.6 times less often.
Oh, wow.
So there's significant opportunity for the practice to drive production, engagement, retention, just by moving those cash pay patients over to membership plan patients. And the value to the patients tremendous. They typically are going to end up spending less per interaction or patient visit than they otherwise would. They behave a lot more like a PPO patient, right? They feel more invested. They feel like they have something from the practice that is unique to the practice that's driving those retention, those visits, the case acceptance, all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's a good number. I mean, oh, and we talked about this in other episodes, but memberships, it seems there's a huge benefit to the practice to get this set up and rolling and implemented. Um, Talk to us more a little bit about from your background in Clary. I know you're more of a recent team member there, but what are some tactics that a practice can deploy to get more patients to say yes to a membership plan, or even maybe use it as a marketing tool to get more patients in the community to find out about them? Do you guys have some guidance when it comes to that, or some techniques that you deploy to help?
Yeah, for sure. So, in terms of driving enrollment among existing patients, there's a lot that can be done, and this is where our team is very helpful. Right? They can make recommendations that are specific to the region the practice is in. But I would say some tactical examples would include um, doing including some enrollment benefits that are exciting, right? Like we're in conversations with some really interesting companies right now that are going to drive down the cost of including some pediatric specific mouthwash
Mm.
or an electric toothbrush that we can help what we call SMB practices get at DSO prices and be able to include those as part of the membership plan or as a way to give, provide something tangible at sign up so that it's more compelling, more interesting for their patients. Also, to position the membership plan not as a last resort, like my experience was,
Yeah.
but to position it in the practice as more of as a VIP program. Think of like your loyalty program for an airline or for a hotel, and
Mm.
and some of the benefits that unlocks. Those kinds of things go a long way in driving enrollment for existing patients. For leveraging the membership plan as a way to drive or acquire new patients, I would say the most underutilized approach is to position the membership plan as an employer plan, to be able
Okay.
to go to small businesses in within 10-15 miles of the practice and talk to those business owners who likely aren't offering a dental plan to their employees. So think of retail stores and coffee shops and trade companies and those kinds of employer groups, and they're going to welcome a less expensive, more robust dental plan option that they could potentially provide to their employees, even if they don't cover the whole amount of the plan, and there's some, a little out of pocket for the employee, it's still going to be a much better option than no coverage at all. So I think that that's an underutilized opportunity for a lot of dental practices to position their membership plan in that way.
I think that, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I had recently Dr. Rehan Shahid on the show. He's got I think he's got 4 offices out of Dallas. But one of his big strategies for growth is he has a dedicated team member in charge of marketing that's doing ground marketing initiatives where they're going out and meeting with business owners, creating relationships, participating in community events, right? I think a lot of practices make that effort where they try to get involved with the community, but they don't take that extra step of going and individually creating relationships with business owners in their community. And I think a membership as an offer, a membership plan is a great way to get in and not just say, hey, I'm the local dentist, but hey, this is of something, that we can offer your team members, your employees.
That's right. That's right. And something exciting that you'll be seeing coming down the pipeline at Clary very soon. I won't give away all the details. We'll leave a cliffhanger, but we're going to make it very easy for the practice to automate largely that outreach effort to small business for their practice. So some really cool partnerships that we're moving forward very soon that are going to really equip the practice with some firepower in that way.
That's awesome.
Especially for those, de novo practices or practices that are really looking for ways to grow and
they need more volume.
And not just volume, but from among patients that are going to be very profitable and loyal. And that's what membership plans can help them do. So really excited about some of those things coming up.
Yeah. Thanks for dangling the carrot a little bit. I'm excited to hear about that. As a marketer, we try to work with our practices to come up with strategies for growth and be creative and proactive with new ideas, innovative. And we've seen some great results when it comes to memberships utilizing text marketing as a form of reaching out to their existing patients, offering that, creating personal one-on-one connection through that, not just a blast, but there's a way that our pipeline team at Marketing 32 helps the practice do that and stay on top of all of that versus having somebody at the front desk just wear that as another hat and try to do that. And how do you say it and what do you say and how do you position it so that you get the right kind of response and people replying and taking action on it. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I'm excited to hear what Clary's coming up with. So you'll have to keep me posted.
I will.
Cool. Well, I mean, this has been a fascinating conversation. We're almost out of time. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Clary that you're itching to, like something of value that you think would be helpful or on your mind?
Yeah, I think that what I'll end with is Clary's commitment to helping the practice drive case acceptance. I think that membership plans in particular are in a really unique position to help the patients understand the value of the treatment that's being recommended. And we're going to be rolling out some things this year that are patient facing specifically that help the patient to, number one, keep top of mind the treatment that's being recommended by the provider and how the membership plan paves the way for them to get that care to apply the discount, but also to make the cost of the care more affordable. And one way that we're doing that now is a partnership that we have with Cherry Patient Financing.
Yeah,
so not to be confused with Clary, but
Clary and Cherry.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven, right?
Yeah.
But what that looks like in Clary's platform is a native integration with Cherry that shows the pre-approved amount of every patient that's coming in that day, regardless of whether they've signed up with Cherry in the past or not.
Oh, nice.
that means that anything that falls outside the scope of the membership plan, as far as the included hygiene
The
visits,
out of
um,
pocket part
the
of
out
it.
of
Yeah.
pocket for the treatment that's being recommended after the discount, the practice is able to see in real time what that patient would the range that patient would be eligible for in terms of patient financing. So they can have that conversation with the patient, knowing already that that patient is going to be able to get qualified for an amount that can help them with covering the cost of treatment or breaking that treatment up into smaller bite-sized pieces, and thereby helping the patient say yes to the treatment that they.
Right.
So you're going to see some additional ways that Clary is helping patients say yes to treatment more often that I think will be really compelling, both for the patients, but certainly for the practice as well.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, Josh, this has been a great conversation. I always close with, what's that one golden nugget, that one piece of advice that could help our listeners have an epiphany or unlock something for them that they maybe haven't thought of, or that could really have an impact for them? Do you have any advice that comes to mind?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a lot of things I've learned along the way that have helped me in my career and my personal life. But I think that for our conversation, one of the most relevant is that we would be wise to not do it alone.
Yeah.
We ought to really lean into the relationships and the partnerships and the individuals in our lives that can help us be our best selves, that can help us learn and grow, that can support us when times are getting tough or big
Hmm.
decisions need to be made. And maybe it's just the strategic partnership guy in me from the last decade and a half, but I'm a big believer in surrounding yourself with people that that are there to support you, that are there to be real with you and help you know when you need to make a change. Those that have been kind of in the thick of things for a long time that maybe you're new to, just making sure that you have that support system in your life that can accelerate your path to where it is you want to go. I think that getting to where you want to go can be very lonely, and it is best done with people surrounded by the people that believe in you and that you believe in them, and it makes all the difference. I think practice ownership is especially a lonely proposition. Uh,
Yeah,
a lot of
it is.
research shows that dentists can feel very lonely or isolated or siloed. And whether it's a vendor, whether it's a colleague, whether it's an alliance, whatever that looks like for the dentist, I think that there's a lot of value to be had in not going it alone.
Yeah, I can wholeheartedly support that message. There are experts out there who have been down the road, been down the journey a little bit ahead of you, or people who specialize in a particular field or area of practice management, or things in the practice that will help. And if we have those relationships and lean on those, and those advisors, if you will, and those people that are in your network that can help you in one area, I think I think that goes a long way. Well, this has been great, Josh. Thanks for coming on the show. I'm excited for what's ahead for Clary. Keep us posted on that. And what do we what do we tell people if they want to get connected with you? How do they get connected with Clary? Where do we send them?
Yeah, I mean, you can just go to the website, clary.com, Clerri.com. You can reach out to me anytime, josh.rich@clary.com. And we're all over the industry. We're at lots of
Yeah.
trade shows. Come and talk to us at the booth. Come talk to some of our consultants in the industry and other partnerships. We can point you in the right direction for sure.
Well, thank you. We'll put that email and the website in the show notes. And yeah, thanks again, Josh. This has been a great conversation.
Absolutely, Brett. Appreciate the time. It's been great to be with you.
All right, everybody, until next time on the Marketing 32 show, have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Take care.